peace. What's up? Today I wanted to talk about your third eye and how to know why you're not seeing clear with the third eye. This is kind of a subject that I've been processing because I've been continually clearing my third eye. The reason why most people don't see with their third eye is because we are spinning in space. The Earth is in space. Besides that, there's, void. If you want to call space a void, you can look at it as a void, or you can look at it as, just an eternal space where your soul exists. And that's where you exist primordial essence beginning off, And when you understand that the field is unified, like a unified field of physics, totally connected from the inside out, all the way back up to source, God, creator, or, whatever, term you want to call for the beginning of everything from creation itself, down to you. It's all interconnected. And you are not just your physical body. So when you close your eyes, you're basically, you have access to the field, but you can't see anything because you don't have enough gravity pushing outwards. So it's kind of like a butterfly in the cocoon thing. Like when you begin to work your way from within yourself, outside yourself, you can kind of just like expand outwards and feel, the types of energies that are objectively yours and not yours, and then you could discern as you activate. So it's like kind of when you begin to get a lot of energy flowing through your vessel, I kind of didn't activate like knowingly. It started to happen just because I was interested in astral projection. So I started doing that, and as I was doing that, I kind of realized that when I closed my eyes, I had a screen in front of my face, and depending on where I was, I could see beings and entities as they were specific to different people and places. So I remember one time, I was just, I was taking a bus ride, and I was really lucid. I was basically just like waking in a lucid dream. I was as lucid as I had ever been, and I had the screen up, my third eye screen up, and then I'm sitting on the bus, and then some girl, she walks onto the bus, and she sits down right in front of me, and the bus starts going, and then I close my eyes, and then I see kind of like an entity, like a demoness entity, like in front of my face, like, just chilling like in the back of this girl's head. And I could tell, like, it's not just all you see in 3D. There's a whole lot more going on, besides just, the outside layer, the bottom layer of 3D. It's kind of just like the bottom layer of, what is, what goes on in, in the physics of the actual temporal reality of the universe itself. As you know, it's all true. You kind of just continue to move through it, and as you continue to move through it, you realize as you move, you're kind of growing into a fuller, more embodied being. So that's why I have so many videos on, understanding your energy, sitting in your own energy, spinning your own energy, and discerning your own energy, because those are the core basics to activating yourself, activating your vessel, and turning on your third eye. It's all about core resonance. When you hit that core resonance, you can push anything off of you, and you can detach any type of entity off of you, and you can discern any type of energy that you don't want and discontinue that energy. That also includes deprogramming negative egoic thought forms and thought patterns and programs that you do not want, continuing to, loop you back into negative activity and negative frequency. So moving towards, activating your third eye, you just have to understand that when you don't have your own gravity spinning around you, when your toroidal field isn't spinning correctly, or it's not consciously spinning, you're not consciously spinning, it's subconsciously, you kind of just get, whatever is around you, it's going to suck in, it just sucks in, and it just kind of just like sits like in your field until you're like conscious enough, until you have enough juice flowing to blow it off. And that's like that's something that nobody realizes that they're doing. People who are activated, there's not many people who can explain it. I don't know why. I've been trying to find these answers. I've been like contacting people trying to find answers. Like, how are you doing it? Like, what are you doing? They can't tell me. So, here's an explanatory video here. The easiest way to start it is just knowing that your auric field is a toroidal field, and you spin that toroidal field counterclockwise. That's to your right when you're facing forward. That's the beginning, and that's going to start spinning a lot of negative energies out of your field. So when you do that, you can start to understand that, if you're not consciously always radiating energy outwards from your core resonance, frequency outwards, you're kind of subject to any type of shit that they throw at you, any type of garbage that's around you, either from other people's negative energies, you got static from, electromagnetic devices, all types of garbage that goes around and ping pongs off and just keeps like an energetic cage around the population, and they don't even know it because the government is against the population from figuring out how powerful you are in your physical vessel. Hence these superstorms that they're generating. I'm going to go ahead and say, it's 2 100-year storms that never happen. Once every 100 years. What is the chance that would happen? 2 100-year storms back to back. I won't even say the storms by name because that kind of just gives more power to the unconsciousness. It's just a geo-engineered superstorm that it's generated by some type of negative technology from HARP or from other technologies kind of like HARP, but different. What they do is they take that energy from South America somewhere, and then they funnel it, and then they use it, and then they basically put it in a different area to serve their purpose, which is control, which is pathetic. They just want people to just run, hide, cower so they can end up in some type of simulated Nazi program at FEMA camps. So it sounds crazy, but that's what's going on, guys. I don't know what else to say. You kind of just have to step into your power and start activating yourself and realizing that you do have power within yourself. You are an electromagnetic vortex within yourself, and when you realize that, you can start actually pushing clouds away. I can't tell you how many times I sat on my back deck and watched the clouds form as I watched my internal screen form. I would see the static in front of my face, and then I'll open my eyes and look up the clouds and see the clouds in the exact same form as the static, just because the clouds are chemtrailed and I'm pulling so much force. I look up at the clouds, and the clouds are actually they're following what type of force that I'm pulling with my own suit. So in order to do that, the Merkaba helps too. You can sit in your Merkaba and you can actually activate your pillar of light, and you can just meditate on the forces, of positive energy coming in and dissipating these agitated, geoengineered storms that it's like a secret Nazi regime that these negative forces have buried themselves into the government after World War II. That's what they've done, and they create superstorms, and they just want to decimate and depopulate the planet and break the consciousness even more, leave you even more disempowered. Like, you think like, oh, I'm just one person, what can I do? But it goes way, way, way more than that when you realize you're much more than you ever even imagined. So, I'm just one person talking, in my backyard to a phone, but like, you are actually a super being inside. Once you realize, you start pulsating that force of God, outwards, from your heart center. Once you get in there, you start, generating your own gravity and putting out your own force. Things start to change for you. So granted, you are an energetic being existing in an endless void, kind of just like floating in no space. You have power within your center. The main basis for kind of like being on the planet is to be in your heart and, live from there, because that's where you find your truth. It's from the inside out, and you kind of just, document from, what happens, whether it's, a man-made superstorm, or, it's kind of just like fraudulent government activity, or, just like a criminally based, corporate, capitalist system. You kind of just, see the truth for it is, what it is to you, for what it is to yourself, and, you kind of just feel around the maze, and you begin to activate, because kind of just like you begin to find passion, and a fire starts to burn, even if you kind of just have to light it yourself, and you kind of just sit in your own energy and expand outwards, because you kind of take yourself and you kind of just like magnify your own intent based off of what you truly know is real for you. For me, I know I can see through my third eye. I've had like arguments with my friends and saying stuff, like they're saying stuff to me like, okay, if I give you a document from these scientists saying that rods and cones don't exist in the brain from the center of the pineal gland, and the pineal gland isn't an eye, what would you say then? And I'm sitting there just staring at like a whole bunch of shit beyond the veil that are trying to break into my field, and I'm just saying, no, bro, like, no, it's an eye. I'm looking through it. I didn't tell them I was looking through it, but I'm just like, no, there's no way. Like, you can't have somebody tell you what's real just because they all agreed in their little circles to all agree on one concept that's false just because they have papers. Like, you can't do that. You have to live like from your heart, from inside out. That's where truth is. Like, you have to live from your truth. That's the basis of being alive. So based on that, that's how you activate. You have to just roll with what you know and roll with your own core resonance. So when you know your own core resonance, you start to expand out, and everything that's stuck in, like clinging into your field, it starts to blow off of you, because you know yourself as a fully sovereign individual being, existing in a sphere of light. And from that sphere, nothing can touch you, because you're in your heart. You're totally safe. You're nothing but consciousness. Like, there's no way something can hurt you unless you allow it to. So one of the things that's good to kind of get into your power and stay there is to actually breathe a toroidal breath. This is what I do to kind of vacuum out my field, from source up, because all you are is source, and source is not outside of you guys. You are source, you're part of it 100% all the time. So what I do is I breathe through the sun and through the earth. Anything that's like kind of just like trying to cling on to me, I just breathe upwards. I have my sphere here, and I have the sun, which is also a toroidal sphere, and from my center I breathe upwards, counterclockwise, and I picture kind of just like a vacuum effect happening, and all the garbage getting like sucked out, because it's not here, it's not part of me, so it can't exist. It can't exist where I am, because it's not in my resonance, so it is automatically superseded. And that's what you do to kind of just like expand yourself outwards and you know, fully start spinning your third eye and activating that inner screen, because that is you know, your fully expanded view of the inner of the inside of your sphere. When you see your screen, you see what's going on around you dimensionally, and that's kind of just like more advanced. But you know, to begin, you know, if you don't want garbage all up in your field, all, you know, on your body, sticking into your shit, like, just do the meditation, sit down lotus style, and connect to the earth, connect to the sun, and start breathing in a golden mean spiral. So you kind of just want to, what I do is counterclockwise upwards to the sun on my in breath, and then on my out breath, clockwise downwards to the earth, and then up, counterclockwise back up to the sun, and then repeat, you know. Upwards inside, counterclockwise upwards inside, clockwise downwards outside, like a toroidal field, because that's how a toroidal field spins. It spins inside out, golden mean spiral. So breathe in, counterclockwise up, hit the sun with your empathic feeling from your heart, outwards, clockwise down, through you, to the earth, and then back up to the sun. And that's a game changer for me. That's what helped me. That's what I'm going to teach in my course, my new course coming out on disarming the negative ego, stepping back and taking, you know, the programming how you want it in your field, you know, to positive, you know, so you can reattach to your higher self. You know, that's it. I think I have a couple more tips, but if you like a session, I'm available at quantumlight.net, and I'd be happy to help you guys out for healing and intuitive coaching. Thanks so much.